We are now recording the November 27th, 2020 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We're
Hey, Ernest,
playing
come here, let me
with
give you-
Zoom's new feature, Matthew.
I was going to give Ernest a kiss, but he went away. Oh, well.
He's there.
I can't quite see your face. He's too small.
Giving you a kiss.
Has purple lips.
You look like the Joker.
He does. He does.
Tell us about the new Zoom feature.
Oh,
When you want to put on your makeup and you haven't had time to put on your makeup.
so when I wake up late in the morning and I need to make sure I'm ready to go for my first important meeting with that new potential client, I don't have to worry about putting my lipstick on anymore. Now I have the
Oh my
ability just by going in and choosing the up arrow, the little up caret, you can go to choose video filters. And I can, if I have a cough, put a mask on if I want to.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Or I can go to my studio effects beta, but you have to have a computer that's strong enough and change up and add different things like mustache or my eyebrows here. If I want to go brighter, I can change colors. Maybe I'm having a darker day today, so I'll go a little darker.
We need Spock eyebrows.
Oh, yeah, the up down.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And then you can do your lip color too. Now, if you choose, when you're looking at the different color choices, there's 2 rows of them. You choose the very bottom right one. You can actually select a whole new thing to do different colors. So maybe I'm having a nice, bright, sunny yellow day. We'll go there with both of these.
That looks awful.
About orange.
Oh, yellow.
I
That's good.
says the colorblind guy. I probably picked the wrong colors, but it looks like I'm a little dehydrated. What do you think?
I don't know. It's totally you, girl.
Oh, thank you. Makes my teeth sparkle. So that's a little bit of the fun that you can have to keep our sanity during these crazy times.
Kennedy.
Us accountants that don't have fun.
Exactly.
So on a serious note, it's the end of the year. We're going to talk about apps. Anybody else look at what apps they are spending money on? By the time the year ends, how many shiny new apps have you tried? How many stay? How many go?
I personally always keep trial balance exporter because it's the fastest, easiest way to export your trial balances for QuickBooks Desktop.
I love that.
It is. No joke. Merry Christmas.
That's right.
My problem is there are a lot of really, really, really cool apps and things to work with. I just can't get my clients on board.
Yeah.
Lishio is one of them for me. I still have not found a really, really good CRM that works for me.
Yeah,
Did
it's
you
the
ever-
client facing that I'm having trouble with. So
Have
I've been ever since I got back from Scaling New Heights, I've readdressed apps that are currently using and looking at some new apps that I met the vendors at Scaling. So I've done Vic AI, Shtar, which is the
Payment. It's
Payments.
basically a new way to do your check payments out without
right.
like digitally.
And then I made appointments with HubDoc and I said, convince me to stay. So I've done HubDoc, I've got Smartsheet next week. And it's the same question, is convince me to stay. So,
You're really thinking about giving up Smartsheets?
well,
Let's go, Liz.
I'm
Let's go.
hoping
Let's
that
go, Liz.
they'll
Let's go.
open my eyes to some things maybe I didn't know about, or plans in the future that would help. I can't see. I'm trying to learn. We have a little. There isn't one product out there that's going to make us happy. But if I
Right.
could use Zapier or Power Automate or something like that, but like Smartsheets, if I could trigger a document that shows up from a client to where I want it, It's not there. So I'm stepping back and looking at all the apps and which clients are using what and why are we still hanging on to, why do I have one client with this app and two clients with that app?
Exactly,
Because I
exactly.
just want to go into 2021 with a better plan. And now's the chance to go to the client and go, you know what? I'm doing new engagement letters, fresh engagement letters. And we're going to readdress, sort of like that time of the year where they almost expect you to relook at the way you're doing the work, but
Your app stack.
I say I'm readdressing my tech stack.
So what role, if any, does the age of the company play into your decision making? I mean, do you go with someone that's just a startup, or do you want someone who's been around for a couple of years?
You're right. I mean, sometimes the startups we've had really good luck with some of these startups. I mean, and I've missed those, I think, on some, but yeah.
I don't know. I'm still of the feeling that you should go with what works for you and then bring the client along.
Right. Or I really enjoy working with Shatar. Am I saying that correctly?
Star.
They're thirsty for opinions. They want me to go, that doesn't work. I wish this was over there. Why can't I do this? And I love being with companies who are in that mode. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that with a smart sheet.
And you got history behind them too.
I couldn't do that with Microsoft, but so it seems like every single year, I think I'm going to get closer to a good set of tools.
But then again, here we are. Things change, things evolve, things just don't really turn out to be exactly what they professed they would be. And I'm going to say HubDoc is one of them. It sounded so wonderful in the beginning.
Right.
It was going to be great. But there's just too many breakdowns. And God, yes.
No, as soon as you're done. But there, little cool secret. The alternative for all this stuff are my good old buddy Maurice with LedgerSync. So this is one to start keeping an eye on. I will let you know as it gets a little bit closer, of course, but it's time to start looking at it. And here's why. LedgerSync has been using Finicity on the back end to capture all of their transaction data itself. Finicity was purchased by Microsoft. I'm sorry, MasterCard. Way wrong there. Twisted that one wrong.
Microsoft would ruin
Now
it.
say it 2 or 3 times correctly.
Finicity? What'd you say?
Finicity. So Finicity was the company that actually used to handle Finicity used to be the company that Intuit had, or Intuit sold their bank feed, blah, blah, blah stuff to many, many years ago.
Okay.
And so they're a primary competition to another company called Plaid. Okay. Now Plaid, they were trying, another big company was trying to acquire them, but it hasn't made it through approval yet.
Mm-hmm.
MasterCard purchased Finicity, and talking with who I talked to, obviously, it sounds like there's some interest in more of the check image aspect of it. So fingers crossed. I've already seen the check images are working on a very limited number of banks. And the thing I've told Maurice over and over again is just do not overpromise and underdeliver. You tell people what banks you can do it for, and that's
He's got SunTrust working.
Yes.
And SunTrust never worked with HubDoc, never worked with, you can't even go to SunTrust. I mean, you have to get paper statements if you want to get them in bulk.
And so, that I think is the problem in a nutshell, is the banks are not cooperating.
Yep.
Many of them.
Yep. Exactly right.
If we had if they would come just a little bit, just a little bit.
There's no standardization.
No. And no, the local banks will go to their meetings and say, we just don't want to invest our money in doing that. We would rather invest our money elsewhere.
But isn't that the point though for figuring out what tech stack works for you? I mean, and then tell your client you're going to be on this stack, and
Yep.
part of that stack is your financial institution.
It is.
That's
Because
right.
I mean, you're right. I mean, from an
That's a
FI
harder
perspective,
sell. That's a harder
It's a
sell
hard
because
sell.
different businesses need different banks for different reasons. And if they have a bank for financing, you're not going to get them to change.
I mean, we've
I-
had pretty good luck, but the challenge is, like, we've transitioned so many people over to Chase, and the difficulty is with Chase Bank, they're not gonna be able to use Chase, not anytime soon. Most companies will not be able to because Chase doesn't want to do it. But at least with Chase, if you log in, you can now do a download of all the check images in bulk if you wanted to.
Can?
Oh yeah. So you go into the account and you can go to the checks and you can basically select a collection of them and print to PDF and group them down like that. But it still means we have to log in and do
Yeah.
those things, which means I'm going to every single login like that instead of having a
Got it.
single dashboard for it all. So it's still
which
a little
means you
bit
have to have all those credentials, which is
Yep.
another pain, right?
yeah.
And look how many clients are still handwriting checks or doing checks outside of an accounting program. It's just amazing. And that's one of the reasons Shatar, they're like, well, we do everything ACH. And I'm like, okay, that means every vendor has to have an email. Every vendor has to be on board. And they're like, well, why wouldn't they want to be paid the same day? And I'm like, well, that's a good question, but I'm telling you, I don't
It
know.
happens that way. It really, you know,
They
if you're talking, like Dennis said, a new business, people are open to different ways of doing things.
Right.
If you're talking to a business that's established, been doing it 5, 10 years, why should they change? Where's their pain point?
Well, keep in mind, that's also when you're talking to a new business as a new client, that is one of your best opportunities to introduce any new app stack that you have. Because
Yes.
there's one process to try to convert people when they're already a client. It's another process if they are just coming on board.
Yeah.
If you sell your services well enough, they're going to do whatever Ernest tells them to do.
Mhm.
I have a question. Do some of these apps require either high-speed internet or upgrading your computer equipment? Because a lot of small businesses, they don't want to, they've got equipment like maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, but
I
not,
know.
you're better off, if you're in the cloud, it's not looking at your equipment to run programs. You're actually just.
Your internet access affects that greatly.
Getting that access, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah,
high-speed.
it's the stream, the, what do they call it?
Bandwidth.
Bandwidth.
Thank
Plus-
you. That's
Plus,
it.
a lot of people still don't trust the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're really wrong on that. I mean,
Well, yeah.
well, it's like you can trust it as well. What you can't trust is the people to protect your data. That's what you can't. But you know, if Microsoft can't protect theirs and Google can't protect theirs, what are you gonna do?
Well, even Microsoft, when you're saving your data up on OneDrive and SharePoint teams and all that, they say, if we lose your data, tough. You have to know, you sign all that gibberish that says
It's
that,
in the
you know,
fine print.
you're given, yeah. So we have to pay an extra service or something else in my tech stack to not just back up my desktop,
Right.
but now I have to back up my 365. How many people don't know that they should be backing up their Google?
You got to back up your cloud to the cloud. How many clouds am I going to have to own?
Exactly. Who even knows that?
You know
And then
what?
I have my little
I-
external hard drive. Of course, then you're supposed to take it off site.
Take it with you.
I back up my cloud to here.
And
This
then you
reminds me of
better
home
grab it
title
when your
lock.
house is on fire, but you know, now we can keep. Okay, so if you're in an area, especially rural, and here we don't have the fiber, okay,
Yeah.
sometimes we're better off with desktop accounting, desktop Word and Excel, desktop. Okay, maybe it's a combination of cloud and desktop, but we're actually better on a faster machine in front of us than we are working over the internet. So I don't think a lot of the desktop software is going anywhere for a while. I mean, Ernest is, you know, working on all those tools in his desktop toolkit.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, you know, there's market out there, of course. So he's been really working hard on that.
Better idea.
You know what,
Merch link in bio. No.
Yeah, better idea.
Uh,
Gary.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I asked, to your point, I asked Joe Woodard when I was out there. I'm like, so Joe, do you think I'm a fool for creating, you know, software for desktop? And, you know, it was pretty interesting because he did not even stutter for 1 second because of the sheer number of desktop clients
Yeah.
still out there. He's like,
Billions.
easy 5-year, you know, probably easy 10-year,
Yeah.
you know, desktop tools.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
Still not going to go away. They'll sell it off. They're not just going to go right and be done.
Maybe they'll sell it off like they did the Australian version. Like
Reckon.
go over there, it's called Reckon. They sold the code.
Or like Mint, or like.
I don't see
well,
people. with
Quicken,
a
they
desktop-
sold Quicken.
Yeah, they sold
Remember?
Quicken. Yeah, they sold Quicken off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah,
they
but
did
you-
such an excellent job with marketing. People still think Intuit owns Quicken.
I know they do.
They're like, well,
It's
it's owned by the
actually
same
owned by
company. No, it's not.
It's a private
Well,
firm. Yeah.
you know, I thought about that for a long time, but then, I mean, and I'm not privy to the numbers of Quicken, so, you know, they could be fooling me with regard to that, but I mean, I didn't jump on Mint. I'm just telling you, I mean, that was Intuit's in-house alternative to it. I didn't move to that platform. So, you know, my hot take on that is they probably learned some lessons when they sold the Quicken brand that, you know, will carry forward into, you know, whatever they end up doing with desktop. And I saw NCR's whole progress through, you know, kind of their, it sounds funny when I say it out loud, but through their DOS version over to their Windows SQL-based version. And I don't know that they still have gotten rid of it. You know, they just made the financials more and more compelling to kind of move in the opposite direction. And certainly the price changes this year have actually reflected that with regard that strategy with the desktop. So to the extent that they make desktop more expensive than, you know, QBO, you know, that's going to compel some people to move.
Maybe
and-
not.
It just
Well,
all
and you know,
Comparable at this point.
I mean, the whole security thing that they've implemented now.
oh, that's
Sidebar, Shannon, I'm still waiting.
Yeah, I know.
The whole security thing where literally you can't even log in, and we're not talking about a brand new file, even an old file, unless you have been granted permission in the cloud. I mean, there's really no reason that they had to put that in, and yet they did.
Yeah.
And if that's not a, you know, telling you what the future looks like, then, you know, you're not really, you know.
you need to
paying
open your
attention.
eyes.
Mhm.
Well, they want to know, they want to get a handle on what company files are out there and who owns them, because they're about to make a major change. And I really think it's going to go to a subscription, just like Enterprise. I mean, it's the only thing that makes any sense. But one of the things that I like about desktop, like today, I took a copy of a client and I was testing in it. And, you know, right off the bat, I'm having problems with it. I'm like, God darn it, Intuit, I just want to play with this file. Yeah, so I had to turn off payroll. But yeah, anyway, but so yeah, Gina, this time of year, I'm relooking at, you know, I took my general ledger and I sorted it by vendor. And there's some toys that I get that I just, oh, thanks, honey.
They're fun
like
at
I
first
get-
and you're all into it, and then all of a sudden you find that you're not using it.
Well, I'm going to have Adobe, you know, Adobe DC. I'm going to have it. 3 of us. Airtable. I use it, but is it really worth, I don't know. What's AutoMox? Oh, that's something Mr. Techier here does. Canva, there's always like,
Yeah, I have Canva.
I
I
like
just signed
Canva,
up.
but I also like some of the other ones, and sometimes I like Canva but to do this, and I like another program to do that. So, you know, I'm wasting money maybe because I have like programs, but
Yeah, but even the programs that are very similar still operate and do things differently.
I
They
know.
do.
I have Canva Pro. I bought Crello on AppSumo for a lifetime deal, thinking that I could replace Canva with it, but I can't. I got a lifetime deal of Designer, but I don't know. I haven't really played around with it too much, but yeah, it's so hard because the programs are very similar, but they're still different.
Different.
Mhm. So
Just
then,
gotta
giving
pick
up
them and like
Trello.
stick to.
Trello that I loved.
then I have like, what are y'all saying? Trello?
I've had that for
I
years.
won't look. I won't look. I don't want to.
Well, isn't Trello more like a project management?
It is. It is.
Yeah, it can be.
Trello. Yeah. I was thinking for images and.
No, no,
No,
no.
it's
No, no.
the one.
Yeah,
This is
Trello.
project
Okay, I'll go
management.
click on it.
Yeah. Trello's good
I-
for bookkeeping, but for consulting, not so much.
Yeah.
I have a
I have a
question.
question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Dennis and I said that at the same
Oh,
time.
well, I'll ask- Go ahead.
I'll say my question first. Is anybody using SmartVault as a CRM?
That was a CRM.
What do you use it for? Just
I-
storing stuff?
To store it for storing things, rather than having it on my hard drive. It's up in the cloud.
Right.
It's where I do my work, and then my website portals where I store the client files or
Got
whatever they're doing. So if they don't pay me, I can just take their files and put it back in SmartVault rather than leave it in the cloud.
Right.
So you have it in the cloud and on your desktop. So your desktop
Well,
is
it's
the
not- it's
backup of the cloud?
It's not really on my desktop. It looks like it's on my desktop, but it's really
Right.
in the cloud, because if I'm not hooked to the internet with SmartVault, I can't open up the file.
So do you have it backed up in any way?
It's
Just in-
proprietary, right?
Just in SmartVault.
Yes, proprietary.
So I use both SmartVault and ShareFile, and I'm thinking I'm going to drop SmartVault. SmartVault actually connects to any data files on your desktop.
Like a
But I haven't used it.
you mean
for
you're
that.
syncing, sort of like we're syncing.
Yeah, I think it does.
Well, the way I use it is like, it looks like it's on my desktop, but it's really up in the cloud. And so for all intents and purposes, when I open it, if I'm hooked to SmartVault, it'll look like I'm on my desktop, but if I'm not in SmartVault, I can't open the file because
Right.
it's not there.
Does anybody else use ShareFile? I like ShareFile the best because you can set it up.
I'll keep ShareFile.
I'm going to keep that one. I don't know if I'm going to keep
Oh,
SmartVault.
PicMonkey, that's the other one. You know, and you think, oh, it's only $50, but oh, it's all these little $50
Mhm.
Envato Elements.
Is that a month or a year?
a year.
What did you say, Matthew?
Envato Elements is one of the best subscriptions you can get. 50 cents a day. Gets you all kinds of pictures. This is not something you use to kind of create images. It's something you use to you can grab stock imagery and have it licensed, video stuff, music, PowerPoint slides, everything.
Say it again.
Envato, it's ENVATO Elements,
I
ELEMENTS.
think I paid for that too once.
I pay for it every year, and I like literally use it all the time. All the time.
I have
Now,
I have a
I'll buy-
question.
Yep.
Okay, my question is, how many of you factor in your time and the learning curve in terms of making a decision? For me, I've been using Zoho as my CRM for probably the last 10 years. And simply because it meets my needs, I'm efficient at it. I'm not looking for the perfect solution. I'm looking for something that's good enough so that I can focus on something that, because if I'm spending time, it's the same as spending money in my eyes.
Yeah.
I never get my time back.
Well, that's the problem with the CRMs that I've tried so far, that I'm spending too much time on the CRM and not enough time on the clients. It needs to be seamless. It needs to work seamlessly for both types of clients that I have, bookkeeping and consulting.
Also the payback period too. You got to figure in your payback period. It's going to take you 6 months to a year to really become proficient at it. I mean, how
In
much are
any
you?
of them, right?
When it comes to data though, my very first question out of the gate is, what if we leave you?
How do I get it?
Where are my documents? How do I get, HubDoc
Yeah.
was the only one that I was comfortable with. One, I could shoot off documents anywhere I wanted, except SharePoint. And well, you can. And then if you wanted to download in bulk, you just download whole folders, and they're in a native PDF or Word or whatever. So I felt safe with them. So as a collection point for my clients, I didn't have to worry about, you know, I still want documents to come in through something that land in my server or my SharePoint. Because I know 10 years from now, well, we have document retention policies now, but that I will be able to find those documents. And so I'm talking to Vic AI, you know, and it, wow, looks awesome. And I'm like, okay, you now have captured all these images and you've created, you know, that your little AI is doing all the coding. You have my documents. How do I get my documents out of the system? And he's just like,
Why would you want to?
why would you want to take your documents out of our system?
Because they're my documents. I don't want them to be your documents.
There you go.
Or what happens if you go out of business?
You know,
You
and then
get
they have
COVID.
piece of the puzzle, but they don't have the rest of the puzzle. Like, okay, you're nailing one piece of this assembly line. I mean, nailing it. But I got to get it approved maybe in a different way, and I need to pay the bill. You know, and then you go to you know, so you know, and so they don't hook up with, you know, right now they're in bed with bill.com. Well, if you don't like bill.com or you want to pay all the bill.com fees, why use it? You know, Vicky, I'm just, every single thing we look at is like, hey, what about, oh shoot, you know?
Well, it's
So-
because there's the challenge of evolution of apps, and when they start to work
Yeah.
together and they don't, like this is an ever-changing environment.
Yeah.
So-
Right, it never stops.
But
I
I mean,
expected it to be
Data-
further along at this point and more
Oh, come
things to be working together.
basic stuff. Dubsado, great little program. I have been screaming from day one. I need to be able to download the documents. Why? They're in Dubsado. I'm like,
Ex-
as an auditor wants to see all the invoices for blah, 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 blah. You know? It's like
So
they've got tunnel
can I-
vision.
can I give you the software company perspective?
Yeah.
Sure. They want you to be locked in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
want you
no,
trapped.
really. I mean, you know, I've been to plenty of software conferences where that's a strategy. It's like, look, you know,
Sure.
you build in enough processes and modules, you know, and QuickBooks, of course, is the king of that, right?
Oh,
They
yeah.
want to, you know, your payroll, your credit card, you know, they want to make it very hard for
Mhm.
you to leave their product.
And that is why
Right,
I'm
nothing
dedicated to continue making videos to show you how to get online back to desktop every time.
You go, Dave.
What a plug. You go, Matthew.
Matthew. But yeah, I mean that's a total thing. I had a sales guy that worked for me, God rest his soul. That, you know, he like, that was the number one thing he wanted to do was, you know, that I was always trying to resist. I'm like, no, you know, I'm like, that's kind of a rough thing. But, you know, if you think about it, you know, if you want to guarantee that somebody's always going to be on your platform, make it very difficult for them to leave. And the pain, I was talking to some guy on a completely different note, but it's totally related, right? Sometimes it's easier to pay the attorneys or to pay a claim, an insurance claim, that is to pay the insurance to litigate it out, right? The path of least resistance is constantly going to be done.
You know, it costs me $6.50 to do 2 direct deposit checks every other week. Every time I do payroll, it pisses me off. Now,
Yeah.
I could figure out the timing, close the account, get a new payroll account, reset up my direct deposit. And for all these years, I've been paying that damn $6.50 because they say that it's my payroll license is so old that they can't migrate it to the new program. And I pay it, you know?
Well, you know what? I think that's a smart choice.
Come on,
Dude,
man,
it
that's
should
not your
cost her
cat.
half that. Yeah. We need to talk about that later, Ernest. Are you around after the call or are you traveling still?
No, I'm around. I mean, I don't know if you've downloaded the latest version, but it's actually fully functional now.
Nice.
I
Nice.
haven't even done that.
I'll test it again later.
Alrighty, well, we're pretty much near the end of the time. What's staying, what's leaving? Shannon, what are you keeping? What are you getting rid of?
Most of my subscriptions are for programs, or not apps, but for like mentoring programs or something like that. I'm looking at getting rid of a couple because I've completely switched my focus. And so the ones that teach bookkeeping or the for me to stay on top of bookkeeping and stuff, I'm thinking I'm going to have to get rid of those. And I actually just started implementing Liscio to roll out to my whole firm in January because people have trouble with Dropbox. And I really like that it converts everything to PDF. And I don't have some of it in pictures and some of it in PDF. So
That's important.
Sarah, what's staying, what's going?
I had signed up for Accounting Suite because it was a really good price. And I thought, well, if clients don't want to go to QBO, maybe I'll start pushing them to Accounting Suite. And I'm like, you know, you're down the line going, I've done one. This was stupid. I was going. I might do Airtable, but I have to make that decision in like a week. That's about, silly things like T-sheets. I have one client on T-sheets. So I've got the one fee. I've got Ledger Sync. I'm paying, for one client just because I want to see where he's going with it. It's not going anywhere. I'd love to replace Mineral Tree with the Star, but they're just now implementing checks. And I can't have like checks on Mineral Tree and ACH, which Mineral Tree does the ACH horribly. And so that's I'm like right at the end of the year. And you know what? It may be a whole nother year. I don't want to have documents in one system in the middle of a year and then switch. Okay. So maybe my junior ends, maybe I'll readdress all this before July 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have, when COVID hit, I dropped some stuff and I decided, I have to have Grammarly. Do y'all use Grammarly?
yeah, we do.
I don't.
Obviously don't.
Grammarly.
So anyway, yeah, not much. Not much.
Dennis, do you have any you wanna?
I don't really have that many, and the ones that I use like Zoho and Smart Vault, I'm keeping just out of inertia, and I don't want to. At this point in my life, I don't want to spend a lot of time learning new software.
Yeah.
Ernest?
Yeah, I'll say a couple of things. One is I'm actually going to get rid of my subscription for the office downtown. So that's the whole COVID.
Co-location.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to get.
You're gonna
Yeah,
get rid of a whole office building.
Well,
I
I was on a subscription, right? It's a shared working space.
Right, right.
I literally have not been there since April. And because it's kind of an incubator kind of a thing. I honestly had made the decision to keep giving them money for a while just to kind of get them through COVID. But at this point, I'm like, you know, I've subsidized it enough. So the other thing is I actually just bought Hello Sign. So boom, Hello Sign is Hello. So it's kind of like DocuSign, just for e-signatures.
Oh, what is it called?
Hello, sign.
Oh, Hello Sign. I like them. They're in North Carolina.
Yeah. So I had been like on a trial for a while, and but I'm literally getting enough contracts at this point where I just have to make a decision. So I went with them.
Yeah.
Linda?
I'll be getting rid of SmartVault, just keeping ShareFile. Because I can set ShareFile up any way I want. And that seems to work really well. And I don't have any trouble with people accessing it. They seem to be able to get in and out really well. And if I upload something, it'll notify the CPA or the tax preparer, oh, there's a new data file up there. So that's what I'm going to keep. I may look at LedgerSync. I may look at, and I don't, I'll be looking at other things. I may look at Zoho for like a CRM, but right now I actually went all the way over to Office, Microsoft Office, and I'm on Business Standard, and that includes a lot of things that you usually would. I think you can book people. I think it's called Booking.
Booking. Get rid of Calendly.
Yeah. Well, I don't. But my problem with that is you have to know when you're available, because you have the program when you're available. And it's like, I don't want to have to figure that out. I don't want to have to be available at a certain time. So what I usually I say, call, text, or email me, and I'll get back within 24 hours. And if people don't want to do that, and remember what you were saying about people writing checks? I did a phone consult with somebody about a problem they were having, and we just did it on the phone, and I said, I'll charge you $100 an hour and we'll just prorate it. I'll charge you by the minute, you know. So she used like 24 minutes. It came to $42. I forgot to send her an invoice, so she's email, where's my invoice? I want to pay this, you know. So, and anyway, she wanted me to pay one way, and we went through all these different apps she could pay through. And she finally just decided to mail me a check at my post office. She says, I'm kind of old fashioned. I prefer to write a check. I said, I'm happy to take a check. They don't take 3% out of it. So.
Well, now, you know, I rarely get a check, but finally SunTrust lets me on my business account take a darn picture of the thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's like in the last 40 days.
Well,
Yeah,
Matthew, wait.
it's been in the last year that my bank lets me do it on my business account. It's dumb.
Matthew, what's staying, what's going?
Staying, ShareFile, 17 hats, Teams, Office 365 combo, ClickUp, QBO, T-Sheets, CData, Dialpad, LedgerSync, maybe Zoho One. That's on a chopping block. Qbox, Zoom, VendorSync, of course, and going to cut probably Acuity and all the ones I didn't just list, and I go through my bank statement and find them. Waha.
Yeah.
yes, Qbox is staying.
Qbox is staying for me
And I'm
too.
I couldn't even.
I might get rid of PicMonkey. I've been in Canva more.
Oh, so
I
that's
couldn't even
adding
imagine running my business
Avalara.
without Qbox.
No, I couldn't either.
Couldn't live without my Qbox.
Now
So-
they're supposed to be doing checking in that,
I
right?
know. I want to see what
They
they're.
mentioned that, so that ought to be interesting.
I think this is going to be the year of more the AI. Well, they were explaining to me that there's OCR with a human, which you think that these computers are doing stuff, but it's really OCR.
That's OCPR.
And then, and then there's what was the second one? And then the third one is true AI.
That's tough because you really have to babysit it. You really do. It's not quite there. When the mistake happens, it can creep in and rear its ugly head later.
Still need eyes on. We're not going anywhere. Not worried about that.
Not getting rid of us for a while.
I don't think we're ever gonna go away.
No.
I'm stubborn. I won't go, even if I get kicked out.
Tell Skynet.
That's right. We won't let them
Shannon's
take it
losing
away.
her office space, and I am also losing my cohabiting, co-working space also. So
Got it.
I know like in Seattle area, REI just put a brand new headquarters and then sold it off because they weren't going to use it. So they're
Yep.
working-
Yeah.
all righty, guys. That's it.
Happy.
Well, I hope you're recovering from the turkey and the pie.
I'm
Have
recovering
a great
from
weekend,
lobster.
everyone. See you all next week.
All right, great.